crippling snow event is over, and the sun is shining here in Southern Ontario. This is the Sportsline Podcast. Always appreciate you watching or listening on CHCH or Parrot TV. I'm Bubba O'Neill. Our podcast is always a space for the many extraordinary athletes, coaches, executives, and broadcasters that got their start or are representing the Golden Horseshoe at the highest level. Today we talk to a team that are doing just that.
And if Mohawk is to win it, that would almost certainly make her the MVP. Watt has to shoot, deflected, picked up by Mohawk, and they are champions. The Mohawk Mountaineers are your OCAA gold medalists. They are the champions. They've won it all.
It was a dream, wish, and a grind that dated back to 1991. But last March, the upstart Mohawk Mountaineers women's basketball squad won the 2025 OCAA Championship. The provincial goal secured with a 73-69 triumph over the nationally ranked Humber Hawks. Now, coming off that gold medal performance, the 2026 Mountaineers are off to a 12-0 start and are number one in the CCAA National rankings. Let's bring in two very, very important people that are representing that 2026 squad. Head coach Mihai Raducanu and Maddie Williams, one of the top players of the squad. Always appreciate you coming into the Sportsline Podcast. This is exciting to talk to an undefeated team.
Thanks for having us. This is great.
It's been a great start for you, and I'm going to come right at you. Maddie, you can start here with this. When I say to you, you are representing the number one team in the nation, what does that mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, it doesn't mean anything unless we have the team that we have. It's more about the thing we've created here, you know. It's less about, you know, having that number one ranking. It's pretty cool, but it matters more about what we have and how we treat each other and the family we've created.
Coach, obviously, you're the one putting together the game plan. At the end of the day, players need to execute the game plan, but 12-0 means the players are listening.
They're definitely listening and believing and putting in the work, and they're all in. And I'm so lucky to be able to coach them and the assistant coaches. I mean, we all fill each other's holes and we make each other better. So, you know, I might be the lead, but we all do it together.
But coming off the OCAA championship, it's easy because, like I said, first title since 1991. You're climbing. There's peaks and valleys. You get to the top of the mountain, and all of a sudden you go from being the hunters to the hunted. What's that like?
It's a 24-hour rule, Bubba. You know, it's done. That's done. We got to continue to go. We got to continue to be great. We finished last year 5th in the country at the Nationals, and our goal is to get higher than that. Our goal is to go and medal, to go and win a national championship because we're being treated so well by the college. We're being so well treated by the city. Everybody's buying in. Everybody's helping us grow. So we got to do more. We got to do better. Last year we were good, and it was a good step forward, but we want to be great.
As we look at these national rankings, I mean, there are teams that are, I mean, from all across the nation, and I don't know how many of them you've played or you're familiar with, are these teams, because it does change, and these are the latest rankings, do you expect to, if you get through to the OCAA championship and get invited to the nationals, and these are teams, are you scouting them, are you watching them still even, you know, in the midst of your own season?
Not right now. Last year when we ended up winning and we ended up going, I got some advice from mentors, people that have been there, people that have done it, and they explained to me how to do it, how to scout. So right now, that's not our focus. Our focus is our own backyard, including tonight, and to recapture this OCAA championship when the time matters, and then we can worry about nationals. But one step at a time, Bubba.
Maddie, are you peeking at those rankings? Are you ever looking at some of those schools? Maybe you're familiar with some of the players and teams.
Yes, some of them. I mean, like Mihai said, I feel like we always just focus on ourselves. Like that's our biggest goal, and worrying about others causes us to, you know, steer off track. So if we just focus on ourselves and do what we do, that's how we're going to get there.
You know, I want to get into each one of your stories. They're so original and so interesting to me, and I think our listeners and viewers are going to love it. But I do want to ask this question. College sports, university sports, sports in general at this level, taking a hit. nationally, provincially, even in this city of Hamilton. Economics certainly have a lot to do with it. Time and getting coaches to commit the time is also very, very a struggle at some points. We're seeing that in some high schools as well too. But amongst all the negativity, the Mohawk Mountaineers as a program, and the new AD as well too, he seems to be putting things together. What's happening at Mohawk?
Well, you said it earlier, it starts from the top, right? So it starts with our president, Paul Armstrong. Paul Armstrong is legitimate leader through and through for us, for Mohawk. Mohawk graduate, been in the college his whole life. So it starts from there. With his support, we couldn't do any of this. And then Matt Ferreira, our athletic director, he came in with the vision. He came in with the vision of a winner, came in with the vision of making this the city's team, came in with the vision to build athletics to what it needs to be. What are we actually doing? We're building living trophies. We're building living trophies that go out there and do good in the community, that do good for each other, that help other people. And that's the mantra for our athletic department. So you got to do that. To do that, you got to be able to put resources in. And to put resources in, they need to come from somewhere. So our president is very, very involved, hands-on. I mean, we get emails from him after games, good job, which is unheard of. And then our foundation, advancement and alumni team, fundraising, which I'm part of, and we fundraise, and the community just backs us up. So when we do these things, and you have good visionaries in place, and you have people that care about more than just here's some balls, roll the balls out. They care about the community. They know that we're part of the community. They're feeding us all the things that we need. So we're building at a good rate when some people could be standing still or cutting, like you mentioned.
That's great. And I mean, even in your time, when you were making your selection of where do I want to play, what school do I want to represent, when you were at that pivotal point, and even, throughout each year, because you're seeing players leave programs in the midst of their education and go to other schools, sometimes because they want to play for a winning school. When your selection was Mohawk, I want to go there, what was it? What was your attraction to going and going to Hamilton, staying in Hamilton?
Well, I had come back from the States playing for 3 years, and I decided to take the year off. I didn't really want to play basketball anymore. And then I got into coaching. I needed a job in Hamilton, and I found my way to coaching with Mohawk. And then Mihai on the first day was like, you have eligibility, you should come back. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not ready to.
Hold on a second, sorry, just to recap there. You were helping out as a coach, yeah. And then a transition happens.
Yeah.
She played 3 years at NCAA, North Carolina Central. And then that was the transition piece, and she was my first year coaching. My first year coaching as an assistant, and she would get into practices, and I was like, Mads, you got game. And she's like, no, I don't want to play. And then about midway through the season, she said, my love is back. I want to play for you. Why
did that happen?
I think because basketball is a thing where it can be easily persuaded by your coach. Like, if you don't have a good coach, it can ruin the whole thing, and that's what I was scared of. I was scared to go back and play because I wanted to love it. I wanted to, go back in a good basis with basketball, and I saw the behind the scenes. I saw how he talked to us assistant coaches, how he talked about the girls, how things were done behind the scenes, and I was like, I want to be a part of that. And it's just an easy transition in because I wanted to be a part of everything that was being built at Mohawk.
And it's, I guess, the rewards you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We don't call her the franchise for no reason, Bubba.
That's unbelievable. Wow, I didn't know that. That is incredible. Because it happens. I mean, it happens in sports. It happens in my business where, something that you've worked for your whole life, or it's been your passion. And then one day you're like, it's not doing it for me anymore, or and that can put you into depression. It can send you into so many different directions and bad attitudes. And Coach, you got her back online.
I'm very thankful for that.
Spectacular. Well, as we have an amazing story here, Coach, I gotta bring this up. It is one of the stories that, as I uncover and what little I know of your background, wow. Am I correct in saying you've come from Romania?
Correct.
Barely could speak English.
Correct.
And look what you're doing now. Just tell me how you went from, we'll just say, Romania to where you are today.
Yeah, you want the quick version? How much time we got on this podcast?
It's a podcast. We can keep chatting.
I mean, Baba, you know the Hamilton culture and you understand hoops, and I was so thankful to land at Cathedral by chance. Ended up at Cathedral, first year of the new school that was built. Coach Mark Walton.
Oh, legend.
Took me under his wing. And took care of me. Taught me the benefits of showing up early, staying late after practice, developing your mind, developing your body, getting extra reps. And then through that, I got really good. We won OFSA undefeated in 1998. That team was full of stars, which you can probably remember most of those guys. Ended up playing at Coastal Carolina University for another great guy, Pete Strickland. And I learned even more playing there. And then coming back, one of my former coaches, Gannon Baker, at Coastal Carolina, he was a global player development guy. So I was in my career as a police officer. I was a police officer before, Bubba.
Oh.
Yeah. And as I'm doing that, it's been a long time. But as I was doing that, I started training people in basketball. 2008. Skill development, one-on-one. And it kept growing and growing. And it got to the point where Gannon Baker asked me to join him in the U.S. circuits. The story continues. I started running 2014 a prospect pro camp in Europe. I joined Gannon Baker and I started running the NBA pre-draft with him. Started coaching Hall of Famers. I opened up basketball education companies for him on 4 continents. So I was exposed to a lot of good basketball minds and just some of the best in the world. And also the business of basketball.
Right.
So all of that, came together when me and my wife moved back to Canada in 2018. My wife also played NCAA basketball, so she gets it. Mm-hmm. She gets it. So we came back, and somebody introduced us to Matt Ferreira. Mm-hmm. Brand new in the city, one of our common friends, Jeff Allen, introduced us, and Matt said, "Hey, I was told I got to meet you." We met. I started helping with the department, helping him, bring a different lens to the athletic department from a private kind of eye. And in the midst of all that, Bubba, we're hosting the Women's National Basketball Tournament, 2023. Mm-hmm. And the coach quit the season before in July. And Matt Ferreira looked at me and he said, "You're qualified. Why don't you take over for a year?" So I said, "All right." I went home to Brett and I said, "Brett, I'm coaching this year. I've never done it before. I've never coached a team. I've never been a coach on a team. I've been an assistant. I've been a skill development guy. I've done a lot of stuff, like I mentioned." And I took over. I took over for that year. And, I'm being nice by saying it was close to a disaster. Maddie was there as an assistant coach. But Coach J9, Janine Gaunt came in, Coach Jan came in, and they both came out of the woodworks. I've known J9 for over 20 years. She said, "How can I help?" And I said, "Well, can you do this?" She jokes to this day, because I said, "Can you do this, this, and this?" And she's like, "Yes." So I said, "Okay, you can help me." She's a longtime referee. I mean, she's a legend in her own. She played for Mohawk, actually, in the last years that they won for her. Right? So the OG, she's the OG, Mama J9. So she came on, and Jen, a young local basketball guy who I trained in his youth, said, "Can I work with you?" And I said, "What can you do?" And he said, "Well, I know this and this." I said, "You're on." And then we had Ray Williams, who she's at Guelph right now as an associate head coach, I think, for that year. And Maddie came in off the street. And we tried to build a program, and we looked at it as, "Bubba, what's the focus?" Well, we got to set the culture. What's the culture mean? So that year took us some time to piece things together and understand what we stand for. It has to be a relational piece to how I am and how I lead. And I lead with love, and I lead with relationships, and I lead with taking care of people, and Mads can talk more about that if she wants, but that's what we wanted to build. So we hosted nationals. Did not belong. at all. But we made it because we're hosting.
Yeah.
So Ron Foxcroft and Mark Walton were front row. And I remember we're playing Red Deer, Alberta. 1:36 to go. We're down by 4 or 5. And Bubba, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I can strategize this. I don't have enough in my repertoire as a coach to be able to get my team out of this. So my huddle was like, play harder. Right? It was let's play
Great
harder.
direction.
So then Coach Walton, after Nationals, and the girls did great, and it was a great experience, but it exposed me as a coach. It showed us what we need to get in order to be competitive in terms of bodies, what type of IQ, what type of players we need. And Coach Walton sent me a 4-page document saying, this is where you suck, and this is where you're good. Right? And then we strategized. And the number one thing, Bubba, was, am I good to keep going?
Keep going. This is great.
And number one thing was, how do we get some players to help us build the culture? And first one to commit. First one to say, I want to flip. I want to be part of this. I want to build with you guys. I want to help build. So no joke, we call her the franchise. I call her the franchise, and our players know because she's an example. She's a five-star athlete, 5-star human, 5-star teammate. I mean, I can go down the line. Right? She's 5-star everything. And she was the first one to say, I believe in this. Coach Walton, as you know, coached at Guelph with my wife Britt and myself. So there was a couple of 5th-year players from that Guelph team, University of Guelph, that said, hey, I'll come help you build. So it was like a 1-year contract player type of thing, right? So they came in, they had degrees to do, they had some post-grads that they wanted to finish. Mohawk offered it, so it was awesome for us. And that was the foundational year. So year 2 was very foundational in terms of like, hey, culture's not for sale. This is how we do things. And these girls, Maddie leading them all, Skylar Miniker, Todd Boscovich, Peyton Connolly, like they came in as OGs and they said, yes, this is how we do it. And we had some good core players that returned from that first year. AJ Jacob, who is killing it in the OUS, AUS this year. And we were able to make to the second round of playoffs. Obviously not good enough.
No, but getting there. And then that summer we had to dive a bit deeper into where's my coaching philosophy and what are we doing with our offenses, our defenses, our practices. How do we approach pre-game, post-game, during the game? Like, what are we doing? And a couple more advisors, mentors came out of the woodwork, and some I can name and some I can't because they just want to be anonymous. But man, you got to go and ask people for help when you don't know what you're doing. That's a big strength, Coach.
You think so?
I think it's a big strength when you can ask for help. Most people don't.
Thank you, man. I believe in it. I believe in asking those that have been where I want to go because they've done it. So I believed in that. So, last year, it was our 3rd year.
Ding, ding, ding.
And we got it done. And we got it done. And now we know it works. So this year, we're doubling down. Everybody's saying, well, Scott Radley did a piece in the spec saying, well, you're supposed to go down after you win. But you guys you're back up. Well, we are, because that's the mentality that we have. We want to continue to build the legacy, and especially to give back to the college and everything they're putting into us and all the resources they're putting into us. And for us, it's such a good place to be, and why not continue to learn to win? And Maddie can tell you about our mantra, and our mantra leads into this, why we are where we are today. And what is our mantra, Mads?
It's love, positivity, analyze, don't criticize, and win.
It's a beautiful thing, because in sports where it is easy to criticize, and as you took us through that amazing journey of, what's the old Drake, it started at the bottom, right? And then got to the top, right? And it's exactly what you guys have done. And we look at what you guys have done here on this board, starting at the bottom and coming up through the top and getting to that championship. I mean, look at this. You said 5-11. I mean, these are your conference record. And then look where you are right now and continuing to improve in 2026. Maddie, why? I mean, obviously, you've been here for this journey. What is it about, Coach? What is it about this program? What, in terms of your input as well, too? Why do we see that improvement there?
I think it's just all the right people. I think it's who this team is built of. We care about each other, and I feel like a lot of programs say they all love each other, but like we love each other and we have each other's backs no matter what. And if you can build a team based off that, like, you're golden. Like, we all buy in because we all care so much. We all do it for each other. We do it for our coaches, because truly, like, there's no other place like it. It's really just such a happy, like, joyful environment where, like, we hold each other accountable and we know that, you know, somebody's getting on you because they care, and they want you to be better.
That's great, because it is hard. I mean, sometimes a little bit of tough love as well too. When I ask you about Coach here, we've seen this at the highest level of sports and professional sports throughout many different types of sports. Sometimes really good players, or even some of the best players, if they transfer over to the coaching world, they quite honestly suck. They're not very good. Amazing players, but cannot coach.
Yeah.
Why has Mihai gone from a really good player to a really good coach?
Because he cares. He doesn't just care about us as basketball players and want us to win games and, you know, be his little puppets. He wants us to grow in life, to be good people, to, you know, like, basketball aside, I know he'll always be here for me. And he's always just one call away with anything any of us ever need. And we know that. And he stretches himself thin to be there for all of us, because that's what he does. That's who he is, and he cares about all of us so much. And I think when you have a leader like that, it just brings everyone together. And yeah, it's been quite amazing, honestly.
Well, you talk about team, and obviously I kind of examined your team in terms of some of the better defensive players. Obviously, as we do in sports, we always look at the ones who are knocking down the baskets and scoring. And as we look at your top three scorers right now, Maddie, you're right there with Joanna Smith. You're both averaging 15. I don't know how this happens through 12 games. You're both averaging 15.6 points per game. You're bringing down the balls in terms of offensive and defensive rebounding as well too. Playing some pretty heavy minutes as well too. And then when I look at Joanna too, I mean, she's been 47.1% from the field. A little bit about your teammate, Joanna Smith.
Yeah, she's been awesome to play with, awesome to get to know. Yeah, like I said, first year together, and she just transitioned in so well, so seamlessly. She's super fun to play with. She's a tough guard in practice, and it makes us all better for it. Yeah, she's been awesome to play with. She's a bucket. I'll definitely say that. So yeah.
We don't like playing against her.
No, yeah.
Not at all.
Coach, what do you like about it? Like, what do you see here in her game that's been so outstanding? I think, did she not have a 30? I mean, joining you as well too. I know you had a 31-point game earlier this year, and then she also matched the 31 as a season high.
Yeah. And the funny thing, Bubba, is at the beginning of the season, my speech was there's 16 of us, 16 of them. Sorry. Be okay with single-digit everything. Be okay with single-digit scoring, be okay with single-digit rebounds, and if we all do our part, we're going to have a good time. If you're not okay with any of that, just walk out. And that's their mentality. So when she goes off, or JoJo goes off, that's what we call her, right? Nice. JoJo goes off, or Tiff goes off, or Kendra goes off, anybody can actually go off on our team. That's the best part. But we celebrate it. We celebrate it, and we don't actually know until sometimes we'll be on the bus ride back and somebody will be like, whoa, I had 31. You know, like we don't actually know that. That's how great they are. But what I love about JoJo, that girl doesn't stop running. I mean, it's a flash. You know, it's like she's a flash. You don't know. She's gone. She's gone. We had to actually slow her down in transition, because we can't even get the ball to her fast enough before she gets to the other rim. You know, so that, her toughness, I mean, I've never seen a player get hit so much and fall and get hit full speed and bounces back up like she's plastic woman, you know. And she's a good teammate. She's a good teammate, and she talks really good on the court. You don't hear it because she's low voice, but she talks really well, and the girls enjoy her, and I mean, they all enjoy each other. And last year we had a small team. I mean, last year we had 9, I think, total. And one of the things Mads and I talked about in the preseason was, 16 of us, it's going to be a lot, you know, chemistry, how are we going to do it? And I said, you just got to trust it. You got to trust it. How do you feel now?
Great.
Clear.
He told me to trust him, and I did, and he was right.
Well, you certainly put this team on the right path. And, you know, I got to ask Coach a little bit about Maddie's game. And what do you see? I mean, we obviously know about her story and her coming back to the floor and playing. But obviously, at the end of the day, you're on the floor. So when she is on the floor, the player, what are you seeing?
She came in as an advertised shooter. So I thought that's what I was getting. I thought I was getting a shooter. I was getting somebody that can just knock down threes, and that's all there is to it. And as the first season of her playing progressed, I was like, wait, this girl's a utility knife. She's a Swiss Army. She'll play in the post, so we have her play every position, Bubba. She'll play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she'll guard every position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she'll get rebounds. And if the shot's not falling, actually, she got a great compliment from the Sinclair coach, Andy Kiss, last couple weeks ago when we played. And he said, you cannot game plan for her. Because if her three's not going, her mid-range is going. If her shots are not going, she gets rebounds. If she can't do anything else, she'll guard people, right? And she is so good at everything that we need her to do, and she's a pure team player, and she understands it. And she's the first person that I gave the Gino Auriemma talk. I gave her the talk of, I'm going to coach my best player the hardest. And if anything happens in practice, good or bad, it's your fault. And she said, okay. And, you know, there's times when she knows I unload on her on the bench. She knows it's not personal. She knows that it's for the team, and she takes it and she says, and then she taps everybody else. It's like, let's go, guys. And when the players see that, that your franchise takes it like that and understands, it just brings the team to a different dimension. So, I mean, I can talk for hours about her. And then you have the teammate side of her, the teammate-ness. Always make sure people are ready. There's always a game day eve message. There's always making sure they wear the right stuff. There's always stuff in the locker room. There's always special celebrations for birthdays. She always shouts people out. I was cleaning my office area a couple weeks ago over the holidays, and I came to practice. I said, Mads, I found unlimited cards from you thanking me, or little notes saying how great you are. And she does that for everybody, and she does that to all her teammates. So, I mean, when I say 5-star, it's 5-star, and it encompasses all.
Complete package.
Yeah, complete package.
You know, Maddie, let me ask you this. Because of, you know, your NCAA experience, the fact that you walked away from the game and then took on a coaching role, and now back play, are you a better player now than you were in the past?
I don't know how to answer that. I feel like maybe. I think I've learned a lot along the way. I think I was younger back then and had a lot to learn, and I think I'm a more well-rounded player. Like Mihai kind of said, like when I came in, I was a shooter. That's kind of what I did. I was just out there to, you know, knock down shots. But I think I've kind of come back to my role of kind of that utility player of like kind of how I was in high school, and kind of being able to, you know, jump around and be put wherever they need me. Like I've never played point guard in my life, and last year I had to play the point guard, and I had to learn to dribble a little bit better because you just got to do what you got to do sometimes and do what we need to make the team win.
So, Coach, as this team continues to grow, and now you're in the midst of the 2026 season, been to the top of the mountain, still with room to grow, at 12-0, What are the prospects of this team? And I know what you want to be. And he's going to give me some coach speak here about one game at a time and whatever. But I mean, somewhere in your mind, you have to be looking at, or at least thinking of, the actual potential of your team. What do you see for 2026?
I think I see this team achieving greatness, but I can never predict the future. And I know that you don't want to hear this, but the way I grew up, it was always about that day, because there was a potential of the next day not being there. Communism, no foods, right? You never knew what the next day brought. So that was my mentality growing up. Going to university, I had no idea what was going on, so I was always focused on the day. And then it really comes to light when I was a police officer, where you can't worry about what ifs. There's no what ifs. It's just, what are you dealing with right now? So we're dealing with it right now, and the message every day is success is our enemy. That's our biggest enemy. Every day, success is our enemy, and we got to make sure that we don't let success try to beat us down. We don't let success try to take over. I see us continuously staying focused on being better. We're not where we need to be. And that's, the 12-0, number one, it's all good, but we're not where we need to be.
And the only reason why I think it's interesting that you say that, when I started to look around the leagues, and especially right in your own OCAA, there's a couple of teams that are like Seneca, I believe. They've got one.
Yeah, Loyalists.
Like there's some teams that are bottoming out and probably not going to make the play. But there's some teams that are 1 and 2 loss teams that are right there with you.
Humber.
Yeah, always there. Humber.
So there's 3 nationally ranked teams, Bubba. Right, Loyalist is ranked, Humber's ranked, and we have Humber this Saturday at home. And it's there's players and people. They have solid coaches that understand what they're doing. They have solid coaches that are doing the same thing that we're doing. We just have to stay focused on us, and that's the message always. And we worry. Coach Walton taught me, if you can do the things that you guys practice every day really, really, really well, and you can make sure that there's no cracks in that, that's all you need for preparation. Don't worry about everybody else, And that's what we're doing. We're trying to be really, really good, Bubba, and we got lots of work to do.
Maddie, that's one thing, and it's funny because you've had the dual role, so I'm going to get you on the player side here. That's always good, because if coach is going to be continually preaching that and reminding you guys as players that, hey, you guys aren't as good as you think you are. Like, there could be a little of that comes across. But when you're a player, also kind of building those relationships, on a daily basis with the players, how are you reminding yourselves as players that, we still have plenty of work to do, the job's not done?
I think constant little reminders, and just going hard at each other in practice. Like last night, I said it at practice, and I'll say it again here. Like, we went hard at each other, that I left practice a little angry, a little frustrated with my teammates, because why are they going so hard against me? And that's what we need. You need to go so hard at each other in practice that games are easy. They're all up in our grill, and I'm like, what is we needed that practice, and if we do that every day and every time we get in the gym, we're just going to be so much greater for it, because like Mihai said, success is our greatest enemy, and if we can go hard at each other every single day in practice, we're just going to rise up to the next level every time, and we'll know that we have more job to do and the job's not finished.
Well, I think it's going to be great watching you guys down the stretch to see what happens. And obviously there are going to be some twists and turns of 2026 that you guys are going to have to navigate through. So I would say good luck to you guys on your season. But before we close out, I do want to get to one thing about you, Coach, that I think is so interesting. I find you such a motivational kind of fella in not just your coaching, but just you as a person. You seem to be relative to your family on the basketball court, but it appears that you have a strength, and maybe this came from your parents because of your journey from Romania, that your family means a lot to you. And obviously coaching takes a lot of that time away too. A little bit about your strength in what's at home.
Yeah, I have the best wife in the world that understands it. Understands what I do, and she supports me. She's a scout player. Well, she's 7 months pregnant now, so she's not a scout player, but she's a scout player. There she is, and you know, she takes care of me. She's my truth teller every single day. She always makes sure that I'm level-headed. She watches film with me, and she makes sure that the house functions. Everybody asks, why aren't you coaching with Mihai? And she says, if I coach with Mihai, then who takes care of the rest? And you know, my daughter is 16, and she plays competitive volleyball. My son is 15, and he plays competitive football. He's a quarterback. And you know, there's a new one on the way coming, and they're young there, but yes. And you know, there's a lot that goes into it, and she's the #1 fan, and she takes care of the girls, and the girls love her, and the girls embrace her. So to me, that's my rock, that's my strength, that's the person that tells me the truth no matter what. And sometimes you don't want to hear it, and sometimes, you know, you got to hear it the hard way, but she's the one I listen to, and she holds me together. And then it allows me to be me. She's never asked me to change. She's never asked me to be somebody else. She's never asked me to be somebody that, you know, she envisions being. She just allows me to be Mihai. And what makes Mihai Mihai is relationships. And Matt says that I stretch myself thin, but it's what I love to do. I love to stay an hour after practice to chat. I love to, you know, and my son makes fun of me because I'll say I'm on my way home, and he's like, yeah, you probably talked to 10 people on your way out to the gym. You know? But Bubba, that's my strength, man. My strength is relationships, and I believe that I have a good way of connecting with people. I believe my mom taught me at a very young age, you got to be able to talk to anybody at every level in this world, in this society, and be able to relate. And I didn't discover that for a long time. I didn't know why my Coastal Carolina teammates chose me to be a captain until later in life when I realized, because I wasn't the best player on that team, but it was this that made them choose me to be a captain. I didn't know why I had, you know, 9 informants, and I had 100% confession rate as a police officer. I didn't know it, but I realized that it's a relationship. It's the way I connect with people, and I have that ability. And when you realize it, you got to double down on it, and you got to do more work on it, and you got to read books, and you got to continuously develop your mind. And I take care of my body, I take care of my mind, because if I don't, then I can't take care of anybody else. And you know, Maddie and the other 15 players and my wife and my kids, they sign up for 100% Mihai, not 80% Mihai. So I got to bring 100% Mihai every single day. And that's, I take care of myself so I can be that good for everybody else. And it's taken me on an awesome journey in life, and I am exactly where I belong. I'm exactly where I need to be, and I'm very happy to be in this position, and the fact that these girls believe and they want to play as hard as they play for each other and for themselves, and you know, they respect me enough to follow the game plan, Bubba. What a dream come true, man. What a dream come true, you know?
Well, I'll say this, Coach, and I'm sure your players believe this. It's not just a team. You're building a program, or you've built a program. And you yourself, like, as someone that's molding minds, like, that's the responsibility you do have as a coach and a teacher as well, too. So that means the wins and losses are great, but we're real lucky here, not just at Mohawk, but in this community, to have someone like you molding minds and getting the most out of players and enjoying those moments. So I would say congratulations and thank you, because I love hearing people with attitudes like yours. It's amazing, and we have these amazing stories in this community, many don't know about, and there's probably a lot of people that didn't know about you that might have, you know, picked up a little something from what you're doing in terms of your positivity.
I appreciate that. And if I can, I know you were on a roll, but the community, you're talking community, Bubba? Yeah. Man, I have a scout team chat with 30 plus past players that played at MAC, that played in the US, but they're all Hamiltonians, and they show up to our practices, and they show up to get our girls better, and they love the atmosphere, and they love being part of it. So super thankful for our basketball community, super helpful, super thankful for everybody that's helping us build the athletics the way we're building it in this community. And I could sit here and give you lists of names, but the reality of it all and the truth of it all is Hamilton is behind us, and Hamilton is bought into what we're doing at Mohawk as an athletic department, as a college, and especially in our little team, women's basketball team. People are behind it, and people help us build, and I'm super thankful for that, because this is not a one-man show. It's not a 19-people show. It's an entire community show, and that's why we're so good, and we continue to build and try to make everybody proud.
Can't wait to see what's left in the show. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks
Really
for having
appreciate
us.
it, Jay. It was great. Hey, that's your Sportsline podcast for the day. And if you've just seen and heard, we love talking sports. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote, our Sportsline podcast, we want to hear from you. Please hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe button. If you have something to say, hey, your comments, good or bad, make us better. For the outstanding people that make the Sportsline podcast possible, thank you so very much. And we'll see you real soon.